Welcome to our evidence based channel for awareness on mental health and relationship matters. If you find this video interesting or helpful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. I'm your host, Ammar Mohammed. One day at a time is a very key to help during these days. Okay, so would this be a good time to move to the third type of worries and stressors that in relation to what I've lost and what do I need to worrying about going back to normal life
Mm,
afterwards.
yeah.
Uh, so any thoughts on that, or I can mention a couple of things also.
Or maybe you can just share your thoughts on this, and then I'll see where I can add on to it as well.
Sure, sure. So being at home is definitely a big change from that perspective. However, it is still safe and it can be safe. It's really, it's as long as we are mindful of that, our contribution of our safety. And we mentioned quite a lot on that. In terms of um, what we used to have in a sense, and not able to um, uh, to have it at this moment. And that's really the power of acceptance, where we need to be mindful that we're in control in many parts of our lives. But however, the, the environment around us, the surrounding environment, we have no control over. And accepting that fact, accepting um, uh, that limitation of our um, powers or our abilities to control things is quite human and humbling in a sense. So it is a chance for us
Mm,
to recognize that yes, we do not have, and that is okay. It is okay not to have
mm,
that at this moment, because at this moment what's important is my safety, and it's the safety of the household that I'm with. And also, when I'm safe, my household is safe, the neighbors are safe, and therefore we need to kind of put our priorities in what we are doing now is just as important as we used to have. Now we have something new we didn't have before that is really replacing what we had before in a sense.
yeah, that's true. And also to add on to that, just because we're right now we're not able to go out and socialize as we used to before, it doesn't mean that we still can't interact with other people. Like we have, our information technology has advanced so much. It's to still keep in touch with everybody. Just because you're at home doesn't mean that you've lost being socialized to other people. You can socialize in many different ways, not
Right.
necessarily face to face, to see how other people are doing, to keep in touch, to help out, give out some emotional support to someone who are in need, or you can be there at present with them without being physically present,
All
kind of
right.
thing. This is why we use virtual meetings and virtual ways of connecting. We can
Right,
still connect to each other.
which is really another point of being grateful for. I mean, can you imagine
Mm-mm.
if we were going through this in the 70s? They
Mm.
didn't have smartphones in this. Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine just last night. I was like, I mean,
Mm.
thank God that we do have, these apps on the phone. I mean, you don't really have to even turn on your computer. You just have your phone, and you're able
Yeah.
to see and chat with anyone, even your neighbors, just to check on your neighbor. But just you need to make sure you have your neighbor's number ahead of time. So it's just kind of so
True.
you can reach out. It's not like you're yes, it is different, but it's different for a really higher priority at this moment. And then that's the
Yeah.
part that we need to kind of accept. And it is
Mm.
okay, and to tell ourselves it is okay for not having that at the moment, because there are higher priorities now that we didn't have before. So it's this
Yes.
kind of mindset kind of helps us to adjust to the new life that we have, and accept that we didn't have the things that we used to have in the past.
Yes, and we seek alternative to kind of have a different way of engaging, as opposed to not having at all.
Right.
kind of thing. So I think that's the options that we have in order for us to stay in touch and be grounded all the time, and not having unnecessarily anxiety over things that are out of our control. But what we can, when we can do something about it, we should do it, you know?
Right, right. And also managing how we didn't have, it's really something that we can turn around. It's like, you know what? I can't wait until, when this is over so I can do this and I can do that like I used to do. So it's something that would help us look forward to do it in a positive sense. Um,
Yes.
so that kind of helps us to really worry, manage the worries about the future and the uncertainties. Is really that, believing that this is going to pass is really a strong thing, that we need to all think positively that this will pass eventually, whether it's another week more or even another month more. But we're doing this for a higher purpose, for the good and the health of all people around
Mm,
in Malaysia, specifically, and the whole world in general. So
mm,
believing that it will pass is really strong, and it's important, I feel, to have that hope that it will go away. And I can't wait for that to come back, and for my life, my lifestyle to come back as it was, and maybe it'll be even better. Now, dealing with the
mm.
uncertainty of how things were going to be from a negative impact that was impacted, whether financially or related to a job, or excuse me, because the economy has been impacted and many people might be impacted. The economy has been impacted, therefore the companies will be impacted, and some people's jobs might be also impacted. So this is in the mind of a lot of people, is like, what am I going to have a job afterwards? Well, I mean, from in my mind, what I'm thinking is that if you were able uh, to to get a job, in the past, it's very likely that you will land something, another job
Mm,
in the future, regardless whether it's your current employer or a different employer. Another thing is to manage this kind of thought about the future. This is the time to develop something, some kind of income that you can do for yourself online or in the future as a fallback plan in case of the employment has been delayed or not able to find a job really quickly. Now it's really good time to work on your CV, to update
mm.
on how to do interviews and how to I mean, this is just simple things that we can do in relationship to our job. But also
Yeah.
we can learn and we can build skills on how we can it's an opportunity to change the career or change your services that you are providing, that you used to provide. Maybe this is a good time to think of another thing that you can do in addition to what you used to do in the past, that can balance and that can help bringing in some finance to support the family and to support the self.
Yeah, basically just preparing ourselves during this time, like you said, Brother Amar, getting our CV updated and looking through some of the available vacancies that are online. Just getting ready and prep yourself mentally for this, for upcoming.
Right.
So at least you have something planned to initiate if worst case scenario you lose your job. At least you're not having this, living things towards the end and having anxiety over losing your job. You don't have a backup plan.
Right, right, good, good. I'm glad to hear that you also agree, and you think this is also a good idea, because I think
Mm,
that really helps that we are doing something about the future instead of just sitting and just thinking about it and worrying about it. For us
yes.
to own it is really important. We need to own it. Like just example. I mean, everybody has the same example. Is that when we got the previous job and when we got the previous kind of income source, it was really that we owned it and we did something about it. This is no different. However, it is some However, you do have the time to do it much faster, much better, and be better prepared for the next exciting job, hopefully, that it will be, or some kind of income source for you and your family.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at it in a
Right,
positive, positive way. That's how we should be looking forward to the future, for
right.
something better.
Okay, so before I wrap up, I was thinking, is in case of for people that are were able to do this or have done this, and they're still having the worry is quite intense, and their anxiety is quite intense, and it's really blocking them from having this in a from a positive sense. And
Mm.
also, you mentioned about the OCD and people who have excessive uh, uh, cleanliness, and they're not able to control that. I mean, I usually recommend to see a therapist or some kind of
Yeah.
professional help. I was wondering if you can just share some of the things that, some like signs that if it's, at this far or for this much or for this long and you're not able to control it, at what point people need to reach out for professional help.
I think we would not want people to kind of be at a severe state before they're actually reaching out. And at the moment, there are some hotlines that people can call out or reach out to people on the other side to get some help online. And I think even the smallest indication that it could lead to something that's a bit more severe in terms of the symptoms, I think it's best for them to reach out to those numbers. And I think Relationary also offers online assistance. I mean, online therapy as well at the moment in time, and you don't wait until your condition is out of control to get help. You should just straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think taking it, serious, even with the small symptoms, is really important. At least
Mm,
when you share it with a professional, they can really help you assess how
yeah.
severe it is, and just simple. Maybe if it's not severe, then it can be easily managed.
Yeah.
If it's too late and if it's been around for a long time, it's
Mm,
really it takes more time. I mean, it is. I feel like it is. I mean, not I feel it's evidence, that research has
mm,
shown that therapy works for all these symptoms and all these mental states, the anxiety, depression, grief, and all that. Um,
yes.
it does work. It just takes a little bit longer. So the earlier you detect it, the earlier you reach help,
Mm,
the sooner you get over it, and the easier it'll be of a journey. Um,
yeah,
I totally
that's
agree
true.
with that. Yeah,
Mm-mm. And to
I think
think that
that's
you are not alone, I think that's the most important thing. You are not in this alone.
very good.
You
Yeah,
know, I
very
think
good
you need
point.
to help get people to help
Right.
you. And don't be ashamed to get help because that's the most important thing to get rid of that stigma that, there's something wrong with you. There's definitely something is not right, but it doesn't mean that, there's something wrong with you. It's just that you're going through some struggles at this point in time. It's very challenging for you. Maybe you need a little bit of help and guidance to manage it much better.
Very good. Very good. And
Yep.
I can end here. If you have anything to close with or any thoughts or comments, please go ahead and share that.
I think my last, what I wanted to say is that to make sure that everybody stay healthy and stay safe within your own home, because this is the time that you're playing a very crucial, important role in managing this pandemic, this illness. Okay, so please be mindful that you're not just taking care of yourselves. You also, like what Brother Amma saying, is taking care of your family, keeping them safe, and you're taking care of your neighbors at the same time as well, to make sure that this infection does not go out of control as we have seen in other countries, because they did not impose the same rules that we have here at the moment in Malaysia. So we do not want to get to that devastating state. So yeah.
Great, great. And I just second that. I will just
Mm.
close with that. Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's been great to have you in the talk today, Dr. Ann, and I really appreciate your time and wonderful, sharings that you shared with us, and I really much appreciate that.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us. And if you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. We're not happy to address them for you. And until we see each other again, stay happy. Take care.